Well, the JSE is marginally in the green this afternoon following what's been a tough week, in fact, for global markets. The focus has been on payroll and unemployment data in the US, which is expected out later today. Roy Mutooni is with the Absa Management Group, joins us now to talk about these developments. Good Friday to you, Roy. Welcome. South Africa has its own jobs crisis, so why then are the global investors focused on what's happening in the US related to their employment numbers, especially after this tough week?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tambakile. Well, the thing about the U.S. job numbers is they're a good indicator as to the strength of the U.S. economy. And the stronger the economy is, the more likely that they'll continue hiking rates aggressively. And as they hike rates, the dollar gets stronger, and that continues to hurt us through the rand and through less liquidity. That's why investors are really concerned about today. I mean, it's a paradox that if the number is weak, then that's good news. But if it's strong, then that will probably be bad news. So that's why we'll be keeping a close eye on those numbers this afternoon.
To a more dramatic issue then, a battle between Impact and Caxton. It's now moving forward, taking another twist. Caxton says it'll go to the competition tribunal. What it wants now is action against the chairperson, the board chairperson at Impact. Give us the history and the background.
So Caxton owns about 34% of Impact, and they've expressed a desire to take out the entire business. But they haven't actually put their cards on the table in terms of price, because there's an outstanding issue between Impact and the Competition Commission, which can't be quantified. So there's a lot of bad blood that has developed between these two, and you've had catcalling and different accusations over the past 1 year, and I think this is just one of them. Caxton say that they say that the CEO of Impact has been saying things he shouldn't be saying in public. The CEO of Impact says the same thing about Caxton. So I think it's just skirmishes as part of the bigger battle, which is, will Caxton be able to take out Impact over the short to medium term? So I think this is just one of those things that you're going to keep hearing until there's a clear deliberation.
Vehicle sales, though, seem to be recovering in South Africa. Let's look at the numbers for August.
Yeah, so the numbers for August were actually quite strong, and it looks like it was one of the stronger months for the year. In fact, year to date, new vehicle volumes are up about 14%. The industry believes by the end of the year will be up about 10%, which is quite solid considering where we were last year and the year before, just showing that market is recovering. Remember, car rental hasn't yet recovered in full, so that probably provides a bit of an underpin for next year, for the balance of this year and into next year. I'm just showing you the market is recovering. As difficult as the economy is, there's still the willingness to replace vehicles, particularly those small and mid-sized vehicles out there. So I think a bit of good news among a sea of bad.
Sassel now agreeing to pay a $24 million settlement in the US. It's related to the Lake Charles project and a class action lawsuit. Again, how did we get here, and how does the company move forward?
You may recall Sassel became a big investor in this Lake Charles project in the U.S. some years ago, and it was quite a disaster. They initially thought it was going to cost $9 billion. It ended up costing like $13 billion, and I think the difficulty was every time management updated the market on the numbers, they just seemed to get worse and worse and worse. So the casualties were the CEO and the CFO resigned, and the project got finished. Sassel sold off half of the project to other investors. These investors sued them, saying that the information that they were giving during the project was misleading or overly optimistic. And it looks like Sassel had decided, let's cut our losses, let's come into a settlement with these particular investors so that we can move forward. So I guess it's closing the chapter on a bad experience. All shareholders have suffered, but these ones seem to be getting money back into their pocket.
What would you do with $24 million?
I can think of a few things, Tambakile.
On a more serious note, Barclays PLC sold its remaining interest in the Absa Group. Many of us had actually thought this deal had been concluded years ago, but it wasn't quite, was it?
No, it wasn't. The thing is, it was quite a big holding. Remember, they had a controlling interest in the group, and they didn't want to sell it all to one other person. The only way they could do it was in the market. So what they've been doing since 2015 was selling off piecemeal. This was the last bit. They had already deconsolidated, so they had no management control or management influence. They were just an investor. With the disposal of this bit, now they have absolutely no connection with the Absa group. They've also got their own interests in South Africa. So I guess the two businesses are absolutely independent of each other and can continue competing and engaging in the marketplace. So
Right.
I guess it's the end of a long journey.
Roy, $24 million. Mutooni, thank you for your time. Enjoy your weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Tembekile.